there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stretch the Sketch. Today we are teaming up with the Follow a Sketch February series going on that is hosted by State Goddess, which is Sandy, and this is the sketch that she chose. So we are using it as well, and I am going to stretch it into a double page layout, and I'm also using some products from some Assemblage Required. I'm going to use 2 pieces out of this package, and then I am going to use a piece or two pieces out of this package as well, and there will be links down below for those products if you are interested in them. So I'm going to start with 2 black sheets of paper, and then I have this pattern paper that I'm cutting in half, just 6-inch pieces. Actually, I cut it down by about 1/4 of an inch on the outer edge, just so that I can have a nice border on the right and the left hand side. And then I do have a piece of white paper that I'm going to put at the bottom of the page. Same deal. It's just a 12-inch piece of 12 by 12 piece of paper. I cut about 1/4 of an inch off again, and I am actually I'm just going to layer it up. I don't really care where the 2 meet because I'm going to have a border strip across there, just like in the pattern or in the sketch. And I kept my pattern paper up at the top with my plain paper down at the bottom, just like the sketch, and I'm liking how that's looking. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm putting my photos. I did back them all with some black paper, just because normally I have a white border, but I did trim them all down, and I liked the black on the with the black background, so I thought that looked really nice. I do have these 2 border strips or manufacturer strips from an old Jen Hadfield collection, and they just say hello all over them, and I liked those. They're very neutral, which goes great with these photos. The photos are of me, my mom, my faux sister. she's not biologically my sister, but we claim her as my sister. So and then we're out to eat a couple of times during our visit when we were in Idaho all together. So I went ahead and included those. I also am not a huge doily person, and I've had these black kind of, I guess they're doilies, but they're square. They look a little bit like placemats to me, so I went ahead and I used those. I have them coming in off the edge, and I'm just going to trim off the pieces that I don't need. And some of these photos were taken at a Mexican restaurant, and I don't know if you know those, I don't know what they're called. They're like the banner pieces that they use in the Mexican celebrations that have all of the intricate, I guess, cutouts on them. They kind of remind me of that as well. So I'm just going to go with it. I do like the way that they look when all is said and done, but typically I'm not a huge doily person. So yeah, it's not very often that I put them on my layouts unless it's a really feminine layout or a food layout. So I am auditioning some dies there to use for the word Idaho. I will put a link down below for those. These are Sizzix dies, I believe, Tim Holtz for Sizzix. And so I'm going to put the link, like I said, down below for those as well. I think they are still available, but they are discontinued, so they might be getting harder to find. But last I checked, which was like a week ago or 2 weeks and a half ago, they were still available. So I'll put that link below. And then these are the wood pieces that I'm considering using here. I do end up using 2 of the pieces in that top pack, the not the circular piece, but the other 2 pieces. And that is not a full set. The full set I showed you at the beginning of the video. It has, I think, 2 more pieces in it, but I've already used those. And then the one on the right-hand side, the lower right there, is the full set, I believe. And I'm going to use a couple of those as well. So I'm just using liquid glue to adhere the doily pieces down. I feel like the doilies, it's really hard to use the ATG because it kind of wants to rip. They're so delicate. maybe these black ones aren't quite so bad as the white ones because the white ones are so thin and see-through. It might be a little bit of a different story, but I just think that the liquid glue works really well, especially on those little tiny spaces. So that's what I decided to go ahead and use. Now I am peeling off the backer, or not the backer, the protective layer that comes on all of the wood veneer from MK's shop. So you do need to pull that off just if you've got any of her wood. You want to peel it off and then just toss it. It basically just protects the wood when it's being cut or etched or scored in the laser machine so that it doesn't make it all the darker brown or leave any scorching marks. I think I said scorched. Scored. When it's being scored. I don't know. Anyway, losing my train of thought here. So I'm kind of thinking about adding the edge of that black doily there at the bottom of the right-hand page. And while I think about that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my words for the title, or my letters for the title. And my title is just going to be Idaho. So I'm going to use this pink paper. I think it's really kind of a soft blush pink, and it works very well because it pulls in all of the skin tones that are going on in here. There's quite a bit of yellow going on. I'm kind of trying to ignore that a little bit. The wood veneer does pick up on the yellow a bit, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. But I don't want to just add any yellow to have it pull more of that color in. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this comes out. And these letters, they do cut as well with a an outline. So considering what I'm going to do about that outline, if I'm going to just ignore it or if I'm going to cut it in a different color, there's no sense in using it in the same color. So considering that as I lay down my letters, and I decide to actually go ahead and cut it in a lighter color. So you're going to see that in a bit here. I think I end up using white just to create a nice little framework around each of those letters and have them pop a little bit more. So I have decided to go ahead and use this little piece of the doily that I cut off of the other one of the other pieces, and I'm going to just put it at the bottom on the right hand page, and it's going to be a third little embellishment area. It is a triangle, a visual triangle. When you put both pages together, it's maybe not spaced perfectly, but that's okay. I'm happy with the way that it looks, and I like it. These pink flowers are from the Willow and Sage and Willow. It's a Bow Bunny collection. So I think it's called Willow and Sage. But I don't have a ton of colors or a ton of pieces left, so I'm pulling in these bigger pink pieces, and I think those are going to work really well. I'm also going to pull in a little bit of the greenery just to soften everything up. I feel like organic shapes help soften up the layout really nicely. So I've got a lot of squares and rectangles going on here, and I feel like that's going to just help it out. And while I sort through those, I want to remind you there are a bunch of people playing along with multiple series going on today. So we've got multiple people playing along with Stretch the Sketch, and there is a playlist down below for that. We also have some people playing along with Follow a Sketch February, which there is a playlist down below for that. They may not be stretching this sketch. All of the people in Stretch the Sketch should be making it either larger or smaller than a 12 by 12. That is the whole premise behind Stretch the Sketch, is you work in a different size than the original sketch was presented in. And then, I guess that's the only two we've got going on. Other than that, it is just some assemblage required video. So again, using some of the products from the shop. So here I've tried using the outline for the letter I to see if I like it, and I do in fact like it. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down my letters. I'm starting with the center one and working my way out, so that kind of keeps everything centered in where I want it. I actually don't want it perfectly centered. I want it a little bit more towards the right than the left, because I don't want it to feel like it's going off of the edge of the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the outline around it, because I want to make sure I leave plenty of room for that outline to fit between each letter. And if I had done it without the outline, when I go to apply the outline, it will probably be overlapping. So making sure I'm giving myself plenty of room to work with that outline. The interesting thing is that when you cut the outline, you're getting an additional letter for free, basically. I did not keep them because I don't know how many times I'm going to use Idaho as my title, and I don't feel like it's a good use of my storage space to have just a bunch of random cardstock letters in a bin in varying colors. I suppose that would be, I guess if you had a bin that was just all alphas instead of maybe collecting thickers, you could do that and just save all of the letters and have them in random colors. But I think that for me, that would just be a nightmare to dig through and find all of the letters that I want. So yeah, that's not something that I hang on to, but I could see why some people might want to do that. Anyway, I am just using a little pokey tool that I have to poke out the outlines because they're so narrow. They do give you a little hole in the die so that you can poke them out and not have to try and fight with getting them out of the die. And there's my title. I like how it looks. I feel like it looks really good, but I am going to add one of those wood veneer pieces right over the top of it, which is something that I enjoy doing. I like big, bold titles like that, and then I like kind of scripty fonts layered over the top to complete my title. In this case, it's not a scripty font. It's going to be that airplane with the heart on it. I think that's super cute. It is flying the correct direction for my layout, and then the opposite one is flying the correct direction to have it on the opposite page. So I thought that was really great, and I'm happy with the way that that looks. Now I've went ahead and peeled all of those other wood veneer pieces off camera, and I've got my ticket in that bottom right hand page, and then I am thinking about putting the heart with the airplane up in the top of the left hand page because I'm just putting a little cluster there. It's not getting a bunch of the black, but I am going to end up adding a little bit of the black border or the black doily, a little edge of it tucked in there just to bring in some black up there, but it's not going to be a huge cluster. It's just going to be small. And I'm kind of like thinking about the pieces as I go and letting them just kind of live there. None of that wood veneer is glued down. None of the flowers are glued down except for this one that I'm currently working on. And I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go and thinking about whether I like them while they sit there. And that is kind of my MO for most of my layouts is I kind of audition things and let them sit for a little bit while I work on something else, and then I come back and decide if it is a place that I'm going to leave it at, and I go from there. So that heart wood veneer piece up at the top of the screen has a little airplane cut out of it, and I used that airplane in that bottom cluster. I think it looks super cute, and it's very small. And I really liked it, so I went ahead and used it down there. So it's going to be a question of whether I use the heart up at the top here or not. It's something I'm thinking about, not really 100% sure. Just auditioning a different piece because I wasn't completely satisfied with the heart. So all of these little pieces that I'm cutting off of the flowers that are sticking out, I don't throw them away right away because a couple of them I might be able to tuck in and give a little bit more greenery to my flowers here. And I like doing that because I feel like it's a great use of the die cuts, and I'm not throwing a lot of stuff away, so there's very little waste. And it adds so much to the cluster. I mean, there was no green in this upper right-hand corner, but by doing that, I've now added 2 leaves, or it feels like there's 2 full leaves, even though they're not full leaves, and kind of finishes it off. And so I'm going to do the same in this bottom left-hand corner, and I like the way that that looks. It's just bringing in a little bit more layers, and I think it's really pretty. And then the wood veneer is adhesive backed, so now I'm just going to peel off the backer off of it and then stick it down. I will caution you that once you stick it down, it's very hard to peel up because that adhesive works so well. It's great because you don't have to mess around with any adhesive yourself. You can just peel it and go, but be sure it is where you want it because once it's down, it's probably not going to come up and without kind of ripping something. So that's my little caution to you, and take it for what it's worth. So again, auditioning something different in this upper little area here. I think I'm going to go with the circular one. Again, going with something with a softer feel to it than a square. Makes it feel a little bit more organic and like a softer layout, and I think that works really well for me, and I'm liking that. I am using a little bit of dimensional foam on a couple of these little hearts, not hearts, flowers, to give them a little extra pop, and especially the ones that are overlapping the wood veneer, where down where it says ticket, that one's definitely got a little bit of foam under it. And then I'm checking out this other pinky purple, I think it's a hydrangea, to see if I want to use it somewhere. I didn't like it there, but I do like it in this corner, just to soften up this corner. So I just cut that off of one of the, it's like a hydrangea cluster. I think that's a hydrangea. I'm terrible with flower names, you guys. I don't garden. I don't like getting my hands dirty in the garden, and I pretty much kill everything. So yeah, the gardening's not my thing. And so if it's not a hydrangea, my apologies. So here's where I've decided to go ahead and pull in another piece of this black, and I'm going to tuck that in up top here. And I think I am almost done with this layout. So the close-ups, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. I'm going to journal in this entire area here, but I don't make you sit through that. So close-ups will be up in just a few moments. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. Don't forget to go and check out everyone else playing along with Stretch a Sketch and with Follow a Sketch February. I really appreciate you taking time to watch my channel, and I hope you come back and visit me soon. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit the bell for notifications, and then you'll know when I release another video. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.